This energy center. If we would identify more with its frequency, its color, its sound, if we could be more in touch with it, more could be made available in our physical experience. So we are learning, and we are encouraging you to join us in our learning how to bring sacral energy into the manifestations and the actualizations of our own experiences through wealth, through relationship, through health, especially in our sexual organs. And what else manifests as wealth, because it is our wealth is our health.
Most certainly. And you know it's the truth when it rhymes. Hey.
Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun, and we are here today to talk about sacral experiences in the light body movement. We're excited to have you join us, but before we begin, Tarvars, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Well, certainly, and we encourage you all to join us in this call for the truth. Shall we call forth the frequency of truth? Shall we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth? Calling forth the courage to speak the truth. Shall we have nothing less than the truth to come forward within our experience? And we are in the frequency of truth, and we encourage those who are joining us on the Call for the Truth podcast, click that like, subscribe, and bell notification so you can stay within the rhythm of these truth transmissions. So we are here today, LaOta of the Sun, talking about light body movement. For those who may not be aware, of the Sun is currently engaged in activating the light body as a collective movement, where every first, second, third, and fourth Sunday, we're getting lit, baby. We're getting lit. You know, pulling in that biophotonic light from the cosmos, the ethers, and igniting these energy centers. And we're doing it in the way that how our guidance has led us through this process, where, you know, there's a mindfulness of where we are within our evolutionary stages of growth and matriculation, and this greater understanding of our multidimensional self. And so this has been a phenomenal experience, because we have originally started doing this several years back with our inner circle, advanced clearers, and you know, that we were prompted from our guidance, this has to be expanded. Humanity must understand who they are and start functioning with their light body. So the process has been, again, extended out to those who have the desire to do so. And so each month we have focused on a different energy center. We started off with the heart. Then, just as our guidance prompted us, we started from there. And then we made our way down to the root. And now we're working our way back up into the sacral. And we're halfway through the month, and look, I'm one of the facilitators, and I'm having wild experiences, you know. So we're in the sacral, and it's just really interesting to see how, I want to say this, that each energy center is a world and a dimension truly in and of itself, where there's a plethora of information and experiences to be had. And it is one thing that I have noticed in my own journey, is that it is beyond the shallow understanding of just general characteristics of the energy centers, which is something we often see. Like, yeah, the sacral is associated with creativity, life force, and you know, but like, what does that mean? How does that show up in our experience? And you know, it's been coming through strong, LaOta. It's been coming through strong. You have any thoughts on this?
Yes, it's so interesting. The sacral represents so many things. It is the representation of the strength and power that is available to be exercised into physical reality. It is the sexual energy. It is the creative energy. It is the same energy that resonates with our reproductive organs. This energy center. If we would identify more with its frequency, its color, its sound, If we could be more in touch with it, more could be made available in our physical experience. So we are learning, and we are encouraging you to join us in our learning how to bring sacral energy into the manifestations and the actualizations of our own experiences through wealth, through relationship, through health, especially in our sexual organs. And what else manifests as wealth, because it is our wealth is our health.
Most certainly. And you know it's the truth when it rhymes. Hey. So I want to speak on something about the sacral, this idea of how the sacral with the idea of life and creative energy and how life force flows through. And in my experience, I have seen the divine. Yes, I did. Oh my gosh. I've seen the divine, and the life force, it's a her. It's so funny how I can see throughout life, humanity, specifically through the lens of the masculine, we've been taught to suppress the feminine qualities within us. In my exploration of the sacral energy, I began to see how this can be a gateway for men to bring back balance of the divine feminine within their experience. And then I could also see how this has been suppressed within women who are a physical manifestation of the divine feminine, and why things are jacked up for them. It was fascinating to see that through engaging with life itself, the sentience of life, it helped me understand women a little more. And it helped me understand myself. It helped me understand humanity and how we, in so many ways, suppress life. We go against life. It's almost like we're salmon swimming upstream. And it is not working for us. We're not designed to do that. And it's a painful experience when we don't allow, again, here's those key words, life to flow, right? Like, what does that mean? And so one of the things that I've seen is that through feeling, there's information, and to take action on the feeling and what is true for your soul. And you know how when we go against that energy, that life force, and how it wants to be expressed, things like depression happen, right? Things like addiction happen in different areas. And I've seen it. It's so fascinating. I could, as I explored pulling the light into these energy centers, I began to really understand why things happened the way they happened in my earlier years of living on this earth plane, and even some past life stuff. So that's, I would say, one of the major takeaways. I mean, there's so much more, but one of those major takeaways was understanding the divine feminine, seeing how humanity has been conditioned to go against life, and what that looks like both in the male and female experience.
I agree. I think that the distortion in our balance, where we are either too fixated on the energies that come through the sacral, or we restrict the energies that come through the sacral through our thinking and through our predisposition to the cultivation of the way the third dimensional beings have been processed to there's such a range of aggression to passivity that is appropriate within the blueprint of any given person in their frequency set, that depending on how a person moves forward, if they are in detriment, the balance can be taken off, and then they can have issues with their prostate or issues with their feminine organs, or they'll have issues with their ability to digest energy and manifestations and abundance and prosperity, as well as sexual energy in their lives. It's very clearly everything must be in balance, and it really comes down to everything must be cleaned and cleared so it can operate at its optimum process. So the process of light body is a process that is in agreement with of the sun, because we are energy hygienists. We are cleaning the root chakra. We are cleaning the sacral chakra. And by so doing, through the elevated frequencies of truth, joy, and gratitude, we are able to reset the original blueprint to power. Powering on.
That's right. Flame on. I have a question for you. There's some things that you're sharing that is triggering some words and thoughts. So many people are familiar with the experience of Kundalini. As I go through Light Body, and this actually was something years ago when we were going through this process, but it's even more clear in this moment that our process of light body activation is what people understand as Kundalini, the rising of the life force energy. However, it's a very different experience because I've had spontaneous Kundalini experiences and the energy get lodged up in the sacral and the solar plexus and it hurts like hell and you don't know what to do because you're not trained. And I have come to understand that this coincides literally with what you just said about cleanliness and how people will try to bring this powerful primordial energy up through their light column and get jammed up, traffic jam because of all that debris that's unresolved, that darkness, and the light can't make it through because you ain't strong enough and you ain't really one with the light. You ain't one with the force, right? And so, however, on the contrast, I've seen through this process, it's very different because we have a focus on cleaning and clearing that's embedded within this process that makes it less invasive, so to say, where it's like, oh, you better watch it. You might hurt yourself activating your Kundalini. That's usually the fears, which I think it's rightfully so when people don't have the appropriate understanding of cleanliness integrated in the process of activation of light body. Would you elaborate on this and the importance of cleanliness with this process?
Most of this reason there is even a question is that we don't understand that everything is one thing. That the energy centers are the places where emotion as relates to the tangential idea of each energy center. So in the base chakra, it's about salvation, life and death, being able to preserve oneself. The energies that threaten that we experience in this lifetime and in others that can move through and be integrated and the ones that are not are congested. So if you live long enough, or if you carry over lessons from previous experiences, or if you're in enough life-threatening incidents, you may be congested in that particular energy center or chakra. And that applies to every energy center from the heart to the third eye to all the energy centers. So when you decide that you're going to move forward and you're going to take a week in class and become a master and you have not illuminated and decongested those areas, you may run into uncomfortable issues. And there are a lot of stories about Kundalini energy, which is the light moving up the column as far as it can go until it runs into an area of congestion, just like an intersection of traffic on the expressway. Only maybe you hit the car in front of you. It's kind of that same idea. So all of these things, if you have not been taught how to use your technology, which is your body, if you don't yet understand how the body works and what the parts are and how they connect to all the other parts in your life, then the process of purification can be the process of you learning how things connect to one another. So we are light beings. It is our blueprint. However, we are returning to the divinity and the purity and the innocence. It is in the innocence that we can get everything up and operating again from the original blueprint, not in its corruption.
If you're a conscious investor looking to make a difference, you need to hear about Aluka Gold. Because doing good and doing well isn't just a dream, it's our promise. Let's face it, everyone wants their money to work harder. But what if your gold investment could do double duty? Aluka Gold is more than just precious metal. We're committed to ethical sourcing and total transparency so you know exactly where your gold comes from and who it helps. Every ounce you invest helps support real miners and their communities with humanitarian projects and fair wages. That's not just good business, it's good for the world. You get solid, physical gold, plus the pride of knowing your investment brings hope and opportunity to families who need it most. So why settle for ordinary returns when you can spark extraordinary change? Invest with purpose. Invest with Aluka Gold. Do good, do well, and let your gold investment shine brighter than ever.
Does
Well,
that help?
certainly. It makes so much sense. It's in the innocence that we can get everything up and running, returning back to the truth of who we are, reset, clear the board of the debris. I like how you say we don't understand our technology. And again, more and more, I move into this light body activation and exploration. I see the circuitry. I see the mechanics. I see how I see how the switchboard has been off.
Yes.
And I see how it needs the electricity to flow through the conduit, right? And it's so fascinating. I also see how a lot of what man has made is a mimicry of the technology at best, mimicry where it's still operating outside of the template of nature, of the design. However, they're like, oh, that's a thing. Let's add that into our processes. But,
Yeah.
The devices may cause cancer.
I'd like to add a point that even the idea, we, as you mentioned, the circuitry, we are electrical beings, we are light beings, but we walk around with rubber soles or plastic shoes, and we walk around with shoes on our feet and not touching the earth where we could discharge the electricity. So anybody who knows anything about it, you have to ground. We are not grounding, which affects our energy vortexes and our circuitry panels, so to say. Our circuitry has to be able to discharge energy, or you might hurt yourself. You might have an electrical lightning experience inside your own body as kind of a replication of the electrical storm that goes on outside of our body. So we have to be able to walk barefoot, breathe the air, sit under the sun, and then be willing to allow the process to take place. Mostly these things happen by default. Like something triggers something that triggers something else, and then you're having an experience. And you go to the hospital and they don't know what it is. Or you listen to something on social media and you activate something, and then you realize that you're not pristine enough for that experience that they're explaining. That the yogi that was telling you about it was raised that way and went to 45 years of training and purification on a certain kind of diet with the understanding that he was fully supported by his community. That's a different experience than most of us are having.
Very different. Very different.
So we need to intentionally want to do it, but we don't have the information, and we're in such a hurry for the drive up window. We want to get it at fast food levels. Like, I'd like to be enlightened by Thursday.
Activate your light body in 3 easy steps.
Yes. And for the low price of $15.99, And so that kind of thinking does not lend itself to the respect and the reverence that's needed to invite the consciousness of light into you. It's just not there. It's like, I don't know if light's going to come to your house or not.
Damn, that's so true. The more I engage in the experience, I see it's really an allowing. You can't force the light. I mean, this is actually funny. This is so on point. My experience through the sacral showed me myself, where I was, what I thought, which was willing the light, was really this trying to strain and muscle the light into the, and I'm telling you that sacral got me right in terms of learning to allow things to flow, allow things to come to you. It's so dimensional. I'm not going to get into all the details, but for those who can see, you can see, You know, this idea of you release, you let go, everything starts flowing your way. You
It's
know,
so interesting that you say that. I'd say 90% of the people I speak to in my consultations and who I have appointments with are trying to force someone else to do something. They're trying to make someone give them something they think that they owe them. They're trying to make someone honor them in a way they're trying to make someone give them value that they have already run away from the game. They're trying to make the event that they want to happen, that they want the person to say the thing and hand them the award, all of those kinds of things.
it don't work that way.
No, it's
We,
it's what you just described. It's that misunderstanding of how to make yourself be the thing you want to be.
mm,
How do you make yourself be in charge of your destiny? Do you strong arm the person standing in front of you like, I said, give it to me, when they don't have what's yours? You have what's yours.
I don't know if this is multiple choice or if this critical thinking, I gotta fill in the response, but I'm gonna say you must do it. Every soul must do this, and the power does exist within. It's not something that you force outside of you, and even the internal processes, and that's how deep it is. Pun intended, water, right? That's how deep it is. It is allowing and permitting life to enter in. You know, it's like allowing something that's already there. You just trying to force and make things. No, it's there. Just send the intention and boom, let her do what she do. And it's been so expansive and so gratifying to see. And to pivot a little bit, another thing that has been really notable is ancestry. And we're about to wrap up because we're about to hit that 20-minute mark here. But I have seen the translation into the blood. And this was really cool because you shared some information with me regarding that. And what we're doing with our clients or the light body is working with the blood. And while I was going through this process, I began to bring into my mind the taboo around blood work and how it's been demonized or considered evil, but then you got people out here who's using blood magic and doing this and that, and it's a whole thing, right? We don't have to go into those details, but I had to confront the distortion of my thinking because, there's memory in the blood, which is fluid, liquid, water, right? And to see how I could tap into that to better myself, to better my lineage and remove the distortions of the memory within it. So that was something that was also interesting, and in seeing more of the correspondences show up in my living DNA, like the changes that took place in me started showing up in my family. So for example, me and my grandmother are doing Ho'oponopono 5 minutes in the morning together, clearing fear, doubt, and lack. So I got the elder, and then, I'm here, and then we, not quite triangulating, but we ping-ponging. That DNA ping-ponging. And that was something that never occurred. It's transformational. There's shifts that are taking place with my siblings and my parents and oh my gosh, it's been major. But I do see that it was a direct byproduct and correlation with pulling in the light and allowing the light to dispel the darkness. How the families have shame and lies and secrets and guilt that's stored in there. All that stuff started coming to the surface. And it was within my direct experience. It was within my family's experience. And some of it was resolved. I know you said, look, T, I think you're done. I think you've done what you needed. Pass go. Move on to the next energy center. But you have any thoughts on this idea about ancestry being addressed and relationships and things of that nature associated with the sacral?
It's so funny because so much of what people believe that's lies is based on some small truth. So it is that in the purity of the blood, which infers the bloodlines, the ancestry, and the accumulated things that have been taken in your own lifetime, in the purity of that, there is no place in which there is not sacredness. In the absence of purity, there is danger. In the absence of not cleaning and clearing, whatever has happened in the generations before you, the atrocities, the things that have happened to our bloodlines, then people are concerned, and that would be appropriate. But in the understanding that cleaning and clearing is the way, it sets the table for all places where you go are sacred. If it is within you, it can be made sacred. It was at one point, your blueprint was that of being sacred. So you can return yourself to it, but it may require diligence, and it's probably not a fast food move. It's
No.
probably not something you're going to drive up to the fast food window and get quickly. It may require diligence and patience, and it may change your habits and your behaviors. And then and as you said, it may then change your ancestry, your living, and those who are not focused in this physical reality will all benefit, as you are the living DNA that represents, and there really is no death. So those who are not focused here are also affected by your living DNA. And it all is sacred. And this is the true blood work, is the true of cleaning the generational patterns and lines, or the epigenetics, through the bloodlines.
Talking that holographic talk.
Yes.
Talking that ancestral cosmic memory talk.
And so talking to your grandmother is, it is really the divinity of your experience. You are your grandmother. Your grandmother
Yes.
is you. Being able to
Yes.
take the time and work with her is working with you. The cleaning of her experiences of fear and doubt is the experience of you tidying up your own blueprint, making sacred space for the two of you to share as you are each other. This is the truth of it, the oneness of it.
Yeah. Go on, keep talking. No, I'm kidding. It's so real in the field. But again, like I say, this happened as a byproduct of light body, because a lot of us going on this path have these feelings of, oh, my family and this, and yes, all of us are jacked up. But again, light can change that. All of us, usually people who are listening to these transmissions, they are on the path. It's rare that we get somebody who's super dissident to this information, but we're the ones to change the DNA. We got the tools, and we can reinform. So again, this has been a really good one, and we encourage, if you're picking up what we're putting down and you want to dive deep with us in this light body movement, check the description. There's a link in the description for light body movement, and it is never too late. It is always right on time. Even
Yeah.
though we're working with the sacral, we have access for you all the previous recordings for the root chakra, for the heart chakra. They're in a Google Drive folder with the documents associated, the meditations that are unique to each energy center. So you can play catch up. It's all good. What you got to do? Where you going? What you doing with yourself? So thank you again, LaOta. We can wrap up with the call for the truth
Yeah.
divination card pool.
And for the card that, what is the question for the card that you are pulling today?
That's a good point. So we're talking about light body. We're talking about the sacral. Just keep it open about what is the truth that is needed to be heard at this time regarding light body and sacral.
Yay. Light body is for the entire universe. It is for Earth. It is for the galactic. It is for the interdimensional. It is for the human. It is for all that exists. Light body is for all of us. Mother Earth is operating in her light body now, and we will be hearing from her soon.
Okay, this is a really good one. It speaks to that idea earlier of the clamming up and trying to force things. The theme is freedom. If your hands are closed, you will not receive. Let go of whatever you think you have so that you can receive more.
You have to let go of those experiences, that undigested material from lifetimes and family and past lives, and let the light flow through you and let its consciousness awaken you, as we are the ones we're waiting for. We thank you all for joining us. We hope we'll see you again soon. We give you the greetings of Inlakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude. Thank you.